Hello everybody. So today I'm just going to be going over real quickly the things that if you did not watch the Campfire chat, you probably want to know. So first thing, Season of the Construct. Obviously we're going to be getting one of these little construct spider things here, one of these little ones, as a friend. There's all kinds of tuning stones that do various different things. So like you have things like electrocution support. There was one, for example, they showed where it creates a barrier that like shoots down projectiles.
Another cool ability that your construct has
here, it has like a fire beam, so like you can do various things like that. There's still 2 tuning stones. We don't know what they do. We're assuming they're like a unique level tuning stone, so we're not sure what those do yet. But that's probably going to be something that we figure out during the season, which is okay. Next thing we have is it's going to be the gauntlet. And then to get these tuning stones, you just go into little vaults. They're like little mini dungeons. They have a bunch of traps and stuff in them, so there's a whole new type of dungeon here.
They're met in a familiar area of Sanctuary.
You have to go through traps and fight a boss at the end, and then as long as you have a certain amount of this
Vaults
buff
not only
called
have our new
stacks of
construct
Zoltan
family.
Cool, that you'll be able to open up a certain amount of chests, and there's going to be like up to 3 chests, I think. One of them has like tuning stones in it, one of them has gear, and then there's like a special one if you have like a ton of the stacks of Zoltan Cool left, and you lose those every time you get hit by a trap or something like that. That's just going to give you like an explosion of like legendaries or something like that. So it's pretty cool. Next up, we're going to have the gauntlet. So when it comes to the gauntlet, the way it works is you're going to have a preset dungeon that's going to last a week long, and you essentially go in there and you compete to see who can get the highest score. It's going to be the same monsters, the same affixes, the same everything to make sure it's a fair competition, and the dungeon is going to change every single week. They're going to have leaderboards for solo all the classes, for party all the classes, and then they're also going to have hardcore leaderboards. So that's kind of what's going on with that. It's going to come out, they said, about 3 weeks into the season. Seasonal quest line, not really anything too crazy here. This is just going over the exact same stuff where it's just like, hey, this is what you can put on there. You keep in mind you do rank up these tuning stones though for your companion, so this is going to be something that you're going to want to go and keep redoing dungeons, because I believe you combine stones in order to rank the stones up, that kind of thing. So new dungeon type, vaults, Zoltan's warding, ward woven chests, right? So you can see here
it's out of the
all
vault.
These traps and stuff
you
like
can
that
find the
that
statue
they're
of
adding
Zoltan,
in. Seasonal world activity, arcane trimmers. So new,
which you can see on screen here
activity.
glowing.
That's pretty cool.
And the brazier is a signal
not
that
going to be
you are
anything
now
too crazy. It's just like another kind of hack and slash thing that's just themed to that. There's the gauntlets. Then we're going on over here too. So season journey, emblems, seasonal blessings. Not really too relevant. They don't really show which legendary powers you're going to be able to get from the seasonal blessing. So yeah. So anyway, moving on to class changes. So new class updates for season 3. Patch notes are going to be coming out soon. So barbarian, big improvements to charge, moving power to the baseline skill from legendaries, other effects, mini buffs to key passives such as walking arsenal, adjusting shouts. Want to make having multiple shouts on your bar feel like less of a requirement, but keep it as an option. So that's pretty good. It's going to be good for barbarians for sure. Sorcerer, lightning spear, critical strikes now have the chance to make enemies vulnerable. Okay, so then buffs to legendary paragon nodes. Meteor build is getting some updates, buffs, and and there's going to be a new unique for Meteor. So that's pretty cool, because Meteor is definitely an ability. I like playing Meteor Wizard. I like playing it in D3, so it'll be cool to see something else comes out of that. Buff to underused skills. Okay, cool. Mini updates to ranged builds to make them more viable and fun. Changes to ranged uniques, including Windforce Sky. That's pretty good, because they have a lot of uniques that are bad. Buffs coming to Caltrops. Interesting. Okay, so Druid. Buffs coming to Spirit Boons. That I am happy with that. I think I think there are very good Spirit Boons, but I think that the good Spirit Boons eclipse every other Spirit Boon. So yeah, so gain 303 thorns, gain 1200 thorns. That's pretty sweet. So we'll probably get more information on that. And then another cool thing, so Rabies is getting a new legendary and a buff to enhanced Rabies, which that's great, because everybody knows Rabies is probably the worst druid ability, because I know some people want to say like wolves or like ravens or something is the worst druid ability, but I'd actually argue I think Rabies is. I think Rabies does less damage than anything. It doesn't matter what, like I have tested this skill in so many ways, just trying to make it good, and it's just always bad. So like new legendary coming to Rabies, that's pretty cool. Buffs coming to Lightning Storm, buff coming to Rabies. Okay, Necromancer. Blood and Iron Golems now attack in a small area, similar to Bone Golem. Okay, cool. Probably, okay, friendly players and minions can now move through Bone Prison. Okay, cool. Mini Bone Spirit upgrades, including a redesign of the aspect of Swelling Curse. Bone Spirits. Okay. Your maximum SS is increased by 2 for each enemy hit for 15 seconds. That's pretty interesting, actually, because the old version was pretty boring, honestly, so that's pretty interesting. So it looks like they're going to be changing some stuff there. Alright, cool. Alright, so now we can see the new uniques. Okay, so here's the Meteor unique. Meteor now has 2 charges with a 9.5 second charge cooldown instead of a mana cost, and drops 3 additional meteors around the target. Plus 4 ranks to Meteor, 10% cooldown reduction, 1000 max life, and 25% lucky hit chance. That is actually pretty ballin', because there's a bunch of lucky hit effects with Meteor, if I'm not mistaken, on top of like just being able to get another Meteor. So Meteor's enchantment effect and enhanced Meteor drop 1 additional Meteor. So it looks to me that if you stack CDR, that's probably going to be the build, is, you know, you try to get as low of a cooldown as you can, you stack this shit out of CDR, and then we might actually see some pretty fun Meteor builds. How good will they be? I have no idea, but I do know that Meteor does have some good legendaries that buffs its damage. But the thing is like you could never like spam Meteor. There wasn't like a solid way to spam it. So this could potentially be the way, because if you can get a 6-second roll of one of these and then get a crap ton of cooldown reduction where you're just pressing Meteor like every 1, 2, 3 seconds, like there could be something really sweet here coming on for the Sorcerer. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's see. So now we have Onsung Ascetics Wraps. Lightning Storm gains 1 additional strike each time it grows. Lightning Storm critical strikes, causing lightning to strike twice, dealing 13 to 20% increased damage. And these are gloves. Okay, so 5% crit, 3 ranks to Lightning Storm, 3 ranks to the Defiance passive. Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. I have to say, for the Lightning Storm Druid, that's pretty good. There's gains 1 additional strike each time it grows. So that means, if I'm not mistaken, that would mean it's essentially getting, because it's essentially getting like 2 strikes, right? Because it gets 1 additional each time it grows, so it's getting 2 additional strikes every time it grows from the base and from this. So that's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Okay, class balance going forward. Interesting. So they didn't show us the. They did not show us. Interesting. So they did not show us the new. Okay. Yeah, they put new legendary aspects and uniques, but they didn't actually show us a legendary aspect aside from the Swelling Curse. So we don't know what the. We do know Druid's getting a Rabies legendary, so we don't know what it does, but yeah. So class balance going forward. They want to be able to feel like they can have fun with powerful builds that they discover. Okay, sure. Players want the meta to refresh that the same things aren't obviously the best choices forever. Ball Lightning is fun and awesome, but if it existed for many seasons, Sorcerer players would feel pigeonholed into playing those builds. I mean, yeah, like, it's cool. I think they should, I don't know, they should just really try to buff, like, they should really go to, like, if they want to do, oh crap. If they want to do this, like, I guess, like, the right way, and this might sound dumb, they should really just go to like Maxwell's tier list, look at all the builds, and just go to all the ones that are like B tier, C tier, D tier, whatever, right? Whatever the weaker builds are, and just try to get those to be A tier, and then boom, they'd be fine. Like, I don't know, and just try to like buff those or something like that. Try to make builds more competitive. Because I mean, some people don't even like it where, because like Ball Lightning was so good that like if you were playing Sorcerer last season and you weren't playing Ball Lightning, like if you're really trying to like kill things fast and be like efficient, I don't know how you play really anything else. So yeah, interesting. Alright, so in this vein, there's some larger changes than bug fixes or nerfs. You can see So ball lightning enhancements causing too much damage. Rogue extra combo points via unique interactions. So this is actually really interesting because anybody that's followed my channel has know I've been playing Shred Druid forever, and I've said it's pretty good, even though everybody else in the world said, oh, it's just okay. And I'm like, and now everybody figured out that Blurred Beast is broken as heck finally. So it only took him 3 seasons to see that this thing is broken, but hey, it's whatever. So Rogue Twisting Blades of Poison and Imbue interactions. Druid's Blurred Beast aspect redesign. Yes, it probably does need to be redesigned. It's kind of busted right now. I've said that for like, the Blurred Beast is like crazy good, honestly. Like if you get all the numbers and you get all the pieces together, like I think Rob had a video of him like critting on Blurred Beast for like 1 trillion or something like that, or like 100. I can't remember. It was something crazy in the trillions, but like. So like if you're really like a big min-maxer, like you can go really far with that. But you know, I've said I thought Shred Druid was strong, but all the really good players are just now figuring it out though. That's why you're seeing all these videos of like, oh my god, Shred Druid 5 billion damage, but that's okay. Overpower is too strong in general, is being toned down. Violent Hammer of the Ancients is always applied. So yeah, that's. I mean, but the thing with Shred Druid is like, I'm not even 100% certain it needs to be nerfed, because you do have to have a lot of pieces together and stuff like that, but it was making companions kind of come on the board as a way to buff its damage, because I'm pretty sure that's the way everybody was hitting it. So the whole companion Shred build ended up being very good. Let's see here, season launch, legendaries plus uniques, add new legendaries to the game. Amount is variable, but every class should get something new.
So that'll give you new toys to play with.
Okay. Balance updates, amount is variable. Okay. But the game mini buffs, yeah. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to add like a legendary or a unique for Ravens to the game. Like if they did that, I think, because like I don't even care that like Companion Druid isn't that strong. Like it doesn't bug me at all because I have fun playing the build. But at the same time, I would like them to make like a unique or something for Ravens, because like if they did that, then I mean I feel like the build is kind of like they can buff it if they want, if they feel like it's too weak. But like the main issue with it right now is Ravens doesn't have a solid legendary. So like if you really want to play a companion build, like I really like that idea of turning Ravens into a core skill. I really hope that at some point they do that, because I think having a unique or legendary that does that would be so sweet for a companion druid. And it would also have like insane synergy, right? Like, but yeah, I don't know. I'll get into that. Later. I don't want to start talking about Companion Druid over and over again. Anyway, bring back favorite designs from previous seasons. Malignant rings can be legendaries, uniques, or inserted in other ways, 1 per class. Yeah, so this can be from all seasonal designs, not always the previous season. Yeah, so I'm not sure what they would bring back from last season, because if they were to bring back Metamorphosis, the issue is that would be the most obvious choice. But if they brought back Metamorphosis, the issue would be that everybody would take it because it was so good with Tybalt's. So like everybody would try to find a way to use it. The other thing, like, I mean, personally, this, maybe I'm insane, but like if they were gonna bring one over, they probably could just bring like a lesser one like Chemomancy or something, and then it wouldn't be as crazy. Or even like the one where it like buff like minions and companions or something like that. Like ones where like it would not affect anything in a crazy way. But you know, that's a-okay. Balance updates, you know, some buffs for each class, some nerfs. Yeah, I'm hoping. I am hoping that they do something to Ravens this season. That's kind of my hope. That's what I want to see buffed on the Druid. I think Druid's fine. Like, I really don't see, like, it's like, yeah, you could buff things, okay, whatever, but it's like, why? It's like, I don't know. I think Druid's fine overall. I think Druid's in a good spot. Like, yeah, it has like some obviously good builds, but I feel like most of Druid's builds are like A tier. So, like, if anything, they should just buff lower builds, you know, like maybe make Trample Slide a little bit better or something. Maybe make Companion Druid a little bit better, but it's all good. Okay, quality of life updates. So, Helltides are always on. Excusing a 5-minute break, this is pretty good. This is honestly really sweet here. So, this is definitely something to think about. WASD key control to hone in and tighten your movements on PC. Okay, that's pretty cool. Skill tree respec mode. Yeah, so now you can actually, like, you don't have to spend the gold in order to see. You can undo all the changes and then re-put them in, and then it can accept and confirm those changes instead of it automatically spending the gold. Higher item scaling in World Tier 4. So past level 75 and World Tier 90 plus, you should be getting 925. You should be getting 925 gear now once you get past level 25 and you're doing 90. So if you do play strong builds, it's going to be heavily rewarded in this season. Okay, let's see here. Okay, amount. Yeah, who cares? Q&A. I'm just going to run through this briefly. Let's see here. Well, no, let's see.
How have the team's thoughts changed in regards to balance since Diablo good?
Okay. Three of things, bunch of versions, some pride.
It's kind of whatever.
Bunch of time.
I mean, I think they put enough when it came to their design philosophy. I just want to see the next.
The game overall just got quite a bit of.
No, not really too interesting.
Now I'm kind of going into my opinion, but I think a lot of that feedback comes from a combination of, they don't feel necessarily maybe as powerful as other builds, which we can and we do. And if you've noticed in our past patches, we've consistently been number buffing minion builds, and even this patch does have some number buffs in that realm. But I think a more more complicated, difficult problem to solve is kind of the relationship between the player and the minion, and making the minions feel really cool and awesome, and your investment into them really pay off in a way that is kind of more visceral.
Oh, okay. So that's that was actually totally by chance, but that's actually pretty interesting. So they are actually looking at buffing minion builds. So I'm pretty sure that they consider companions also minion builds, but now they did say that if you want to play a minion build, you should be playing Necromancer, not Druid. So like they're definitely not going to buff companion Druid as much as they're going to buff minion Druid, but like, yeah, and they said in the patch notes there is going to be something for minions in there, so that's pretty interesting. I do like that, because you got to remember that a lot of when they treat companions like minions now. So when you see a buff for a minion, unless it's like a damage buff, but if it's like a quality of life buff, that typically applies to companions as well. So like they said, one where like minions can move through like Bone Prison or something like that. Now that's not going to be super relevant to a Druid companion, but like that probably will apply to a Druid companion. Yeah.
That is a harder problem to solve. That requires it's in my mind, and I'm not promising anything, but these are things like rethinking of how the Book of the Dead upgrades work, and that relationship between sacrificing and minion upgrades, and really trying to make them do more visually, I think, cool and awesome things, and maybe more reacting to you, and so you feel like they're doing a lot more on their own a little bit. That's kind of the direction that we think. We don't have anything to announce right now as far as that. And Druid Companions, I think, are kind of in a similar vein, even though they don't have quite the same support in fantasy that Necromancer does, because they don't have a Book of the Dead, for example. But I think players really just want this visceral feeling, like I've got my gain with me, and we're all going and messing with stuff.
Yeah.
So we're
okay. So that's interesting. So they are looking into making big changes, right? And it sounds like they want to do really systemic changes to Companion Druid, like really changing how they think, how they move, how they do everything, and that's pretty cool. So that kind of confirmed what I was thinking. When he mentioned Companion Druid after that. So whenever they're thinking about minions, they're also thinking about companions. So, and I don't understand why they have such a big issue with companions. I guess with companions and stuff like that, like being strong, but like at the same time, man, who cares? Build's fun, so I don't really
number
care.
buffs now.
But
it is a thing that we are looking at. I don't have any promises of when, because again, this is something that I think is a little more difficult to tackle, and we have other things that we're tackling that are a little more difficult coming in the near future. But it is something that we know of and that will definitely be coming. I just don't know when.
Awesome, I appreciate it. A question related to Uber uniques on Uber Vaults. Is that something that players can find there, or like what can they find in that?
So Uber uniques are still the domain of Duriel at this point. That's going to be your best shot for getting Uber uniques. But we still wanted to make the Uber Vault rewarding, and so for the Seneschal construct, we've actually created several unique tuning stones, which really we haven't given away too much information about, but defeating Uber Malphus is going to be the only way to earn those.
Awesome. Yeah, so players will be able to get really, really powerful, unique tuning stones specifically from those. And I will spoil it a little bit. We did technically have PC Gamer did a good interview
okay.
with Sean, and I know it was kind of like revealed specifically in one of the
so that's how you get the Uber stones for your Seneschal. You have to do the Uber vaults. Okay, cool. All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I think I went over, I guess most of the main. I would say like most, not all, the main stuff you really need to know from the Campfire chat. I'll be doing another video tomorrow when the patch notes get released, so we can see the exact changes coming. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you next time. Thanks.